Hi there, and welcome to our first Real Food on a Budget 101 presentation, presented to you by Frugal Real Food Meal Plans. My name is Tiffany, the founder of Frugal Real Food Meal Plans, as well as the founder of the natural living and real food blog, Don't Waste the Crumbs. I am so excited to talk today about one of my favorite topics, how to save money on real food. Saving money is something that we can all do, especially when it comes to food. But 7 years ago, this was something my husband and I had to do. You see, we were in a great deal of debt, so much so that if you added up everything we owed, we could have bought a nice starter home in the Midwest. We cut and trimmed every expense imaginable, and it certainly made it easier to make ends meet. But it wasn't until we created a grocery budget that we were finally able to get ahead and start putting money into our savings account each month. While those first few years were tough, they taught us that eating healthy doesn't mean spending a lot of money. And it's now my passion to share what I've learned with you so that you too can eat real food on a budget. Today, we're going to talk about 3 simple ways to reduce food waste in order to save money on our grocery budget. But why is this important? Well, the average family spends between $140 and $240 at the grocery store each week. Of all the food they buy, 40% ends up in the trash can. 40%! I don't know what your grocery budget is, but mine is only $330 a month to feed my family of 4. And on some months, it's a real struggle to make ends meet. With the rising cost of food, I literally cannot afford to waste any part of it. I have a hunch that many of you are in the same boat as I am, and that you can't afford to waste 40% of your grocery budget either. Frugal Real Food Meal Plans was designed to help you feed your family for as little as $350 a month. But you can reduce your grocery budget even further and save even more by reducing your food waste. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you avoided eating leftovers because they didn't sound quite as tasty the next day? Or have you ever put vegetables in the crisper drawer and accidentally forgot about them? I sure have. And finding them several weeks later, all slimy and soft, was not fun. Or better yet, have you ever wondered whether or not you could eat the seeds of squash? Or thought about cooking the leaves of beets or the stems of chard? What did you do? Did you look up ways to cook them? Or did you throw them in the trash and just get on with the recipe? If you answered yes to any of these questions or just got on with the recipe, don't feel bad. I've done the same thing before, and I'm gonna probably do it again. However, eating real food on a budget means being better about food waste. Fortunately, I have 3 simple ideas to reduce food waste and help you save money on your grocery budget. Number 1, buy just what you need. Every time I go shopping, there's a huge temptation to add items to the grocery cart that I don't need. It could be a new flavor of this season or an extra of something, just in case. However, these are the types of items that are more likely to end up expired or moldy because I didn't really need them in the first place. When you're tempted to put an item in your shopping cart that's not on your grocery list, ask yourself 2 questions. First, is this a need or a want? Needs are items that serve a particular purpose, like an ingredient for a meal. Are chicken enchiladas on your meal plan? Well, then chicken would be a need. Wants are items that sound good, but they don't have a purpose. Have you ever bought canned pumpkin in April because you had a hankering for pumpkin pie? That pumpkin, my friends, is a want. The second question to ask yourself when you're tempted to put items in your grocery cart that are not on your grocery list is this: do I need this much? We all know buying in bulk is an excellent way to save money, and it's one way we've been able to keep our grocery budget so low all these years. However, buying more won't save any money if you don't have plans to use it. The bottom line is this: it doesn't matter how good the deal is if it's only going to end up in the trash can. Make sure you're buying just what you need and nothing more. Number 2, do something with what you buy. Have you ever made a recipe that called for 2 ounces of cream cheese or 3 slices of bacon? Of course you can't buy just 2 ounces of cream cheese or 3 slices of bacon, so you buy the bigger package, measure out what you need, and you put the rest in the fridge. And then you forget about them. I'm so guilty of this, but it's just one more reason to make it a point to use what you have before you buy anything else. Instead of buying ingredients for a new meal, make dinner and use up what's left of those random ingredients. As you cook each week, substitute whenever possible so that nothing goes to waste. This is especially important when it comes to fresh produce, because it's not always easy to fit just 1 cup of this and 1 cup of that into a meal. Instead of wasting food and wasting money, try an appetizer-style dinner or a buffet. Both are ideal for using up small amounts of several items. You can also chop it all up, add it to a big bowl of lettuce, and serve it alongside all the bottles of dressing you have that only have a serving or 2 left. If the weather is cool, add the chopped produce to a big pot of homemade chicken stock for a simple pot of soup. If all else fails and you're drawing a blank when it comes to what to do with what's in the fridge, bring in your family and ask them to help. Have your own rendition of the TV show Chopped, where everybody pulls out their own ingredients and comes up with something delicious. The winner gets bragging rights until the next time, and you get a clean fridge. Whatever you decide, just do something with what you buy and avoid the trash can whenever possible. Number 3, limit your trash to just 1 bag each week. I know this idea sounds strange, but hear me out. Saving money is just as much a mental issue as it is a financial issue. When you know you only have 1 bag of trash for the whole week, you'll definitely think twice before you throw something away. Think about it for a moment. Bottles, jars, and plastic can all be recycled. So the only items that are truly trash would be personal effects and food waste. However, some of the items that we consider food waste are still really edible. Let's talk about apples. We've all thrown apple cores and peels into the trash can before, but did you know you could just toss them into a blender and make a smoothie with them? Or you can make homemade apple cider vinegar. Bones from meat can be used over and over again. The ends of onions, and carrots, and celery add great flavor to homemade stock. Any dark leafy green, from beet greens to broccoli leaves, can be cooked with onion and bacon for a delicious side dish. The stems from chard and kale are a great substitute for celery. Do you have stale bread? Make breadcrumbs or croutons. What about squash or melon seeds? Add them to granola. When all else fails, these can all be added to a compost pile or fed to the pets. Coming up with different ways to use food so that it avoids the trash can means more of what you buy will get used and eaten, and less will be thrown away. Are you ready to stop throwing away 40% of your grocery budget too? Let's recap and share again these 3 simple tips to help you do just that. Number 1, buy just what you need. Shop with a list, stick to the list, and don't buy more than what you can really use and eat. Number 2, do something with what you buy. Make it a point to use what you have before you buy anything new. Cook meals that use what you have on hand, including condiments and spices. Number 3, use just 1 trash bag each week. This silly idea will make you think twice before throwing food away and will help you get creative with the food that you once thought was inedible. I know for a fact that frugal real food meal plans will help you eat real food on a budget, and these 3 simple ideas on reducing food waste will help you save even more. These are the same tactics that I use to feed my own family healthy food without going broke, and they can do the same for you too. Thanks so much for joining me in this presentation today. I sincerely hope you found it helpful and informative. Be sure to check your email soon for my next video, Unlikely Sources for Real Food. If you have ever found it difficult to find sources for real food, that is, sources that don't include a hefty price tag, I promise you will not want to miss it. Finally, if you have any questions about this presentation or frugal real food meal plans, be sure to leave your comments and questions in the comment section below. I promise to read all of them and respond to as many as I can. We'll see you soon.